Missingno became such an infamous glitch Pokemon in the Generation 1 Pokemon games, nearly everyone heard about it at some point. Typically found on the coast of Cinnabar Island after using the Old Man glitch, however that glitch does not work in Pokemon Yellow, and Missingno is typically more difficult to encounter as well, because it will usually crash the game when encountered. So today I'm going to provide the best methods I've found for encountering Yellow Missingno in Pokemon Yellow. Now the first method is definitely the simplest one. We just need to do the trainer escape glitch on the Gambler on Route 8. Since he's a long-range trainer, we are able to do this by opening the start menu after he comes on screen. You'll have to use a different long-range trainer if this one isn't available. After opening the start menu, you'll want to fly to Lavender Town and head into the Pokemon Tower. You'll need at least one trainer available to battle, but I use 2 here to speed up the process. It's faster just to use these 2 trainers here. You'll want to battle 1, save the game, and then battle the other one and use an escape rope afterwards. This is where it's useful to make Lavender Town the place you'll return to, because all we need to do now is walk back onto Route 8. Usually the game will crash when Missingno appears, but then you'll just reset the game and try again. Battle the last trainer again and use an escape rope, walk back onto Route 8, and repeat. Eventually it'll work, and of course when I was trying to film this, it worked first try. So let's see what happened. So like usual from Yellow Missingno, the music will fade out, and it will take a while to appear. In this case, it's nice where it doesn't do anything special, just the music cuts out, and it says Wild Missingno appeared. Sometimes you can get annoying effects. And some of the biggest reasons for encountering Missingno is that it will add 128 to whatever item's in slot 6, and if you switch that with something else that's under a quantity of 128, when you catch the Missingno, it'll also duplicate it, so you can actually duplicate twice from the same Missingno. Anyway, we get this really comical effect afterwards. There's a whole bunch of the yellows running around. It's just really funny. It kind of reminds me of the Find Me from the Wii Play game on the Wii. That's all there is to say for this method of finding Missingno, so let me show you another one. This method is pretty easy as well, but does require the CoolTrainer glitch move, which can be taught to a handful of glitch Pokemon, but my favorite to use is XX, or Index 196, which can be attained by using the Mew glitch with a special stat of 196. XX will learn CoolTrainer at levels 11, 40, 55, and 80. Once in a battle with the CoolTrainer move, open or flash the items menu, and then open the fight menu. You'll notice that the moves are blank, and odd characters will show up in the area that displays a move's type. When you try to scroll in this menu, it will typically change what we can see, and will produce a TM Trainer-like effect. You can see the Pidgey is now burned in a different color. It's actually the same color palette as Missingno, so if we throw a Master Ball at this Missingno, we'll catch one, and that can be used to add 128 to whatever's in the 6 slot in the item bag. Now, unfortunately, I already had more than 128 Master Balls in that slot, so it didn't actually do anything. So make sure you have an item less than 128 if you're looking to duplicate items. But something interesting is it's good to save after doing this if it's something you want to do to actually duplicate your items, because this move can be a bit finicky. And you'll notice here that this time when I tried to use it, the game will crash. And therefore I have to reload, and I lost all my progress on duplicating items. That's something you gotta watch out for. Now in my experience, it seems that Pidgey is the best option, and thankfully we keep getting those. The worst option, in my opinion, and from my experience, is Abra. Every single time I encountered an Abra, the game will crash immediately, and it's not very fun. So I take a moment here to switch PP up in the correct spot, so we can actually duplicate it this time. And I also tested the theory if flashing the item screen and then doing something in there would cause weird effects. So then I did it again, and it seemed like it kind of helped. But as I said earlier, this glitch is very finicky, so it's hard to predict what's going to happen. But to get the best results, it's always good to flash the item screen whenever possible. Usually you'll see what we're looking for, because sometimes it will be like a move, it kind of bleeds in like that, like the Y9 kind of there. That's kind of what you want to see. And once you get that, you want to press B to back out. You don't want to actually use the move, because then you'll actually get a different effect that will feint the Pokemon, and therefore we can't catch it to duplicate our items. And on this note, thankfully we're able to release Missingno, so you can do this on repeat if you want, without having to completely fill the PC with Missingnos. So a little bonus thing here, we're actually going to take a look at Missingno's stats, because when we do that, it will invert the sprites or flip them in the battle. So we're going to do this again. And we get a good candidate too, Jigglypuff. So when the sprites are flipped, something different happens. The game handles it a bit differently when the TM Trainer effect takes place, which happens pretty quick here. You can see it says Type Rock, which is kind of neat. And it changes the color of the Jigglypuff, and it's actually really cool to see Jigglypuff in this color. Now, the reason why it's that color, as you might be able to guess, once we catch the Pokemon that's here, it's because it takes the same color palette as Horsey. And so this is a neat way to get a Horsey that can be healed properly. You'll notice that it has like weird HP, it's over level 100, and it's asleep, but it can be fixed, and it can also evolve. Use like a rare candy, for example, we can evolve it and actually continue to level it up over level 100. So this is a neat way to get a decently powerful Pokemon. As I mentioned though, that was kind of a bonus thing, and it has nothing to do with Missingno. And like I said, if you don't want to keep this, like the Missingno, you can simply release them afterwards. That's all I have for this method, so let's see another method of getting Missingno. The next two methods involve the same setup and the same glitch, but one doesn't work consistently, and the other has a longer setup but works all the time. We are going to start with the one with a shorter setup. Both require the trainer escape glitch to prime the route for when we return. But for now, we are going to fly to Pewter City and then use the PC to save the game by changing boxes. After that, reset the game. The reason why we want to be in Pewter City is because there's a museum guy near the Pokemart that we need to talk to. Tell him you haven't seen the museum, and then the game will force you to follow him. At this point, the two methods will branch off, so it's best to save the game here, because we have now set up the route completely. And so now we'll get a wild encounter when we return back onto the route. So now we need to determine what Pokemon we're going to get, so we're going to make our way to this location here. You're going to need a cutter for this one, because it's much faster than having to go all the way through Diglett's cave. And the reason we need to be in this area, because there is a NPC we need to talk to, and it's only located in this area here. It's a trade NPC, and all NPCs that are willing to trade with you have Pokemon with nicknames. And now this Pokemon's nickname will determine what Pokemon we'll see when we return back to the route. And this works regardless if the trade's been completed or not. It doesn't matter what your Pokemon's nickname is. Once you complete the trade, it's still based off their Pokemon's nickname. And in this case, it's Miles, the Mr. Mime. And so you might be able to guess what Pokemon we're going to get, given the topic of this video. But it's nice because this is another decent method of being able to encounter Missingno on repeat. It might even be better than the first one I showed, because all you have to do is save in front of the trade NPC, talk to them to trigger their text box, and then return back to the route with the long-range trainer. Unfortunately, Yellow Missingno likes to crash the game, so it's going to crash once again. And that's exactly why it's good to save at some point before going back onto the route, so you don't have to redo any of the steps. But in this case, we're going to fly to Cerulean City to try something else. If you wanted to do that one on repeat, you could. Eventually it would work, much like the first method I showed. But for now, we're actually going to navigate our way down to the bottom of Route 5, because there's another trade NPC located in the building towards the bottom of the route that will also want to trade a Pokemon with you, nicknamed Ricky, which will give you a level 80 Starmie, which might sound a little anticlimactic, but there is a pretty good benefit. I mean, it's a strong Pokemon for one, so it's just nice to have. But at level 80, Starmie typically has its special stat around the range of anywhere from like 160 to the range that we want, which ends at 184. So, you know, 165 is pretty good, so I'm actually going to give it a couple rare candies to see how close I can get it where I want it to be. Because there are 3 versions of Missingno that are found in this game that are stable, unlike the yellow Missingno, the typical one, that are easier to encounter. I cut most of that out, but the point is that we got to 181, which is great, because that will allow us to do a trick that I'd like to show very briefly, and that's simply just go in, fight a couple Pokemon. In Bellsprout's case, just one will be fine. Then you'll go back to the PC and deposit the Starmie, then withdraw a Starmie, and typically Bellsprout will give 1 special. And that will increase it and give us 182, which is great, because we can take the special stat and escape from a trainer again, go into Cinnabar Mansion. Don't forget to fight a trainer on the way. You could also use the save at the PC and museum guy combo if you'd like, and then find a Ditto in the basement. Use this special stat we have, and have Ditto transform into the Pokemon with it, and then just run away and use an escape rope, and return back to the route. So a special stat of 182 will give us the Kabutops fossil form of Missingno. Special stat 183 will give us the Aerodactyl fossil form of Missingno. And special stat 184 will give us the Ghost form of Missingno. And the 3 of these will not cause any delay when they show up. They will not crash the game. They will still duplicate the items when they appear on screen, and they'll still duplicate items when they are caught. And they don't down level like the normal yellow Missingno. So to put simply, they're pretty much better than the normal yellow Missingno in every single way. Now in terms of encountering Missingno and item duplication, it's probably the safest method, but it does take longer to set up than the other methods. And what I mean by safer is they won't crash the game, is all. But now it's time for the next method I have. So to start, what you need to do is actually reset the save game data to start from the title screen, as this will maximize the chances of this glitch working. There is possible chance that this will not work have you already played through the game, and that's even the case from past save files. So as you see here, we are in Viridian Forest, and we did a trainer escape glitch on this trainer using an escape rope. That'll bring us back to Pewter City, and since I already beat Brock, it's time to head to Misty, which is what I recommend you do next. But before fighting Misty, it is very important that the last place you healed was in Pewter City. That'll make doing this glitch easier, and I highly recommend picking up this rare candy here, because that will give you a really nice effect later as well. And the only thing I recommend for Misty is that you bring 1 Pokemon strong enough to beat her, and then 1 Pokemon to faint, because what we want is a fainted Pokemon after this. And as long as we see Misty Starmie, it's okay. Technically, we could still lose the fight to Misty, and that'd be okay too. But in my case, I'm going to faint Pikachu and use my level 100 Nidoking to beat the Starmie. So if you do choose to defeat Misty, you can trick the game into giving you only a fainted Pokemon by depositing the Pokemon you have left, and then leaving yourself with a fainted Pokemon. You'll black out at this point, and then for the best effect, do not open the start menu and just return back into Viridian Forest. And this will happen. But that's not all we'll get, of course. We are going to get a Missingno encounter. This one's a bit noisy, so prep your ears for that. So Missingno is going to do its epicness and make us listen to it, and also make the game hang for a little bit. Eventually we'll have a chance to act. It's best just to immediately try and throw a Pokeball. You can see we have rare candy now. If you put that in the 6th slot, that'd been great. And now you can actually switch it. Since I had Bubble Beam, I'm gonna switch that in. We'll catch the Missingno without catching it. It's kind of a funny effect there. And it will be nicknamed Master Ball, which will be useful for later. We also just duplicated our Bubble Beam TMs, And we'll see some weird stuff happen here. It was very entertaining seeing that book fly around. I guess if you wanted to play the me game again, here you go. That's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for watching and for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to rate the video well if you enjoyed. And please let me know what your favorite method was in this video. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.